What's up, guys? Welcome back to another edition of Pro Pels Talk, presented by Scott Vigner Injury Law Firm. Day 2 is in the books for the New Orleans Pelicans, and I thought CJ McCollum had an interesting answer about if he would come off the bench or if he would be a starter going into this year. We're going to talk about it right now.
First took away. Yes, with this. Get your money's worth now.
As always, presented by Scott Vigner Injury Law Firm. Make sure you smash that like button, and also powered by 4D Energy. So I'm going to play a clip here for you from CJ McCollum via the New Orleans Pelicans YouTube page. Juan Kincaid had asked CJ McCollum and Trey Murphy a question about coming off the bench or starting. And this was CJ McCollum's answer.
So you're not opposed to being that sixth guy off? I know you've been a starter all your life, but pretty much.
I think the biggest thing is whatever it takes to win. I'm not going to volunteer, but if that's what the coach wants to do, that's what he wants to do. I think the biggest thing for us is to play. Our job is to play the game at a high level, and I don't get paid to coach.
So CJ says whatever it takes to win, right? And so we talked about this last year, and we've talked about this offseason and into media day. CJ McCollum completely changed his shot profile for the Pelicans last year in order for the betterment of the team. And it's not talked about enough. And I know a lot of people CJ takes a lot of flack from fans, and I can't really understand why. I think he's one of the most professional guys we have in the locker room. He's a guy that's averaged 20 points or more for 10 straight years. He's a professional scorer in every sense of the phrase. CJ is a team player and he wants to win. When I hear that, though, I think two different things, right? So one, he says whatever it takes to win. Okay, so you're telling me that if Coach Green came up to you, he would accept that role coming off the bench. But then he also follows up and says, I'm not going to volunteer. And I completely agree with him because I don't think CJ McCollum necessarily needs to volunteer to come off the bench. He's a guy that works his ass off. He plays injured. He's always available. I understand he had that lung injury last year, but he came back quickly, got over that in about 2 weeks, came back. Took him a little while to get back in rhythm, but still got back in rhythm. Had one of his best shooting careers in his entire year, was top 5 in NBA in three-point percentage, also in three-point attempts. I mean, this guy is a professional scorer. Let's talk about him coming off the bench because I do think it makes sense. This opens up a window now for Trey Murphy and or Herb Jones to start. And I think that's another discussion that we'll probably have later this week. But if CJ McCollum comes off the bench, you have a guy who averages 20 a night, is one of the best shooters in the league. And I think he would absolutely blitz second units. I think he would have his way with second units and still put up the numbers that he did last year. Now, as a starter, though, and I said this a couple of days ago, I think DeJounte Murray, we were talking about like who will DeJounte Murray unlock, and a couple guys said Zion or Brandon, whoever. I think he unlocks CJ because now CJ, you move him off the ball, you put him in the corner or weak side corner or wing, and he's just going to be shooting wide open threes instead of, initiating the offense, which he was asked to do last year. This year, he now has a point guard. He can now play his actual role in which he did in Portland as the 2 guard. And just play off of DeJounte, Brandon, and Zion, shoot at a high clip, and still average 20. So I see pros and cons for CJ coming off the bench or starting. I just thought his answer was interesting in saying that, I'll do whatever it takes to win. I'll if Willie wants me to come off the bench, I'll come off the bench. If he wants me to start, I'll start. If he wants me to hoist up 8 3-point attempts a night, I'll hoist up 8. If he wants me to run point guard, I'll run point. He wants to win. So Willie has an interesting decision to make because you got CJ, you got Herb, and you got Trey. Those are the 3 guys that would have to move to the bench. Herb Jones wants to win. He's a team first guy. So that, are you going to bench your defensive player of the year? One of the heartbeat of the team? I don't know. That's a tough decision. Okay, let's move to CJ McCollum. CJ McCollum's averaged 20 or more for 10 straight years. One of the most respected guys in the league. Obviously, president of the Players Association. Has a ton. He's one of the best shooters in the league. How do you bench him? And then you go to Trey Murphy. How do you bench Trey Murphy? You're about to pay him $150, $160 million a year. Clearly, he's one of the most beloved guys in the fan base. And then you know the ceiling of Trey Murphy. We know what Trey Murphy can be. So Willie Green has a really, really tough decision to make. But I thought it was interesting. I thought it was a very professional answer from CJ McCollum. Him saying, I'll do whatever it takes to win. I'm not going to volunteer. I'm letting you know right now. I don't want to come off the bench. And I don't blame him. But him saying, I'll do whatever it takes to win, I think it makes Willie's job a little bit easier. If I had to predict today, CJ is going to start. I think Herb and Trey come off the bench, in which I don't agree with. But once again, he also says in this interview, you're going to see a lot of multiple starting lineups this year. It is what it is. They still don't have a center. They don't know the Brandon Ingram situation. So this is a fluent situation in which I think you're going to see multiple starting lineups. I don't think anyone has a right answer. I don't think anyone has a wrong answer. But I am very, very interested to see preseason game one, if everyone's available, who Willie Green will start. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what y'all think on CJ McCollum's comments and if he should come off the bench or if he should be a starter. Make sure you smash that like button. We'll see y'all later this week.